Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of BTTH Rebirth of Emperor Yang episode number 175 based on novel. So let's start. Deep in the Xiaolin Mountains, at this moment, an amazing scuffle is in full swing. Countless warcraft and hundreds of human strong men gathered here to fight each other. The blood stained the sky. The shrill scream kept ringing. The whole mountain range was scarlet by the crimson blood. The mountains collapsed and the earth cracked, and there was a bloodbath. A moment ago, it was still a fairyland on earth. The deep Xiaolin Mountains with beautiful environment had turned into purgatory on earth in this short time. Death is constantly staged here, and killing is the main theme of this war. The whole battle circle looks like a huge ring. The ring is divided into 3 layers. The outermost layer is endless warcraft. As the battle becomes more and more intense, countless warcraft come from distant mountains and join the battle circle. As for the 4 families, there is naturally no backup available. The people of the 4 families are the second layer of the ring from the outside to the inside. From a distance, the number is far less than 1/10 of the number of warcraft. However, if you look closely, you can find that although the number of warcraft is mostly, the owners of those blood at the scene are basically warcraft. Even if there are human bodies, there are only a few. Although there are a large number of warcraft, the overall strength of the 4 families is much different from that of the people of the 4 families. In contrast, the strength of both the semi-emperor strong and the fighting emperor strong among the 4 families is much stronger than that of warcraft. Based on strength alone, Xiaolin Mountain is by no means the opponent of the 4 families, but on the other hand, Xiaolin Mountain is better than quantity. Only in this way can we maintain the balance of the war situation in a short time. Of course, this balance was only maintained before the leaders of the 4 families joined the war circle, but after they joined the war circle, the whole war situation was subversive. In the team of the 4 families, there are 7 strong fighting emperors, including 3 3-star fighting emperors and 4-star fighting emperors. In addition to Xiaolin, who is fighting against the 4 eagles at the moment, the other 6 strong fighting emperors have joined the peripheral battle circle. At the moment, the Xiaolin Mountains have no resistance, even if there are more warcraft, but under the hands of these 6 strong men, they still look so unbearable. The center of the whole circle is the battle circle between Xiaolin and Tianying at the moment. Although it is 4-1, the Tianying 4 people at the moment are not much better than those warcraft in the outer circle, and even more miserable. With the strength of the 4-star fighting emperor, Xiaolin occupied an absolute advantage from the beginning. In the face of the 4 strong fighting emperors, although one of them is the 2-star fighting emperor, in Xiaolin's view, this lineup does not have any threat at all. Each attack of the other party was easily resolved by Xiaolin. In contrast, the 4 Tianying people, let alone hurt people, wanted to meet Xiaolin's body, which was extremely difficult. After a while, Tianying's 4 people were covered with sword wounds, big and small. Blood gushed out like a gurgling spring, and dyed all their clothes red. At this time, the faces of the 4 people were white, and their fighting spirit poured out continuously. They struggled to resist the flying sword shot from the face. Cold sweat had spread all over their forehead, but that was the case, but they were still struggling. No matter what, they couldn't let the people in front of them find Xiao Yan. Pooh! Suddenly, I heard a puff sound of the body being torn. Then, the eagle quickly turned around and saw that a golden long sword pierced the chest of the burning lion mercilessly. The blood immediately gushed out like a fountain, and the face of the burning lion became white in an instant. Burning lion. Dick. Second brother. The next moment, the pupils in their eyes suddenly shrunk to the size of the tip of a needle, and the shrill cry in their mouth was heard over the sky. Their faces changed greatly, and they hurried to the front of the burning lion's body, holding the burning lion who nearly fell into the void tightly in their arms. A sword pierces the chest. Even if the burning lion can't die at the moment, it has reached the edge of life and death. In a twinkling of an eye, the burning lion has completely fainted. The eagle held the burning lion in his arms. In the wound on the latter's chest, the crimson blood was pouring out continuously, making the latter's breath between his nose weaker and weaker. His white face was even more terrible. Dick. Tianying was shocked. He quickly took out the pill from his ring and fed it to the comatose Yang lion. Xiong Gang and a Bao looked at the comatose Yang lion with worry. The fighting spirit in his body churned uncontrollably and violently. In his heart, he wanted to smash Zhuo Lin completely. However, in the face of such a scene, Zhuo Lin was merciless. While the three people were distracted by the burning lion, his mind controlled the 4 flying swords around him and fiercely stabbed at the eagle. At the moment when the 4 flying swords were fired, Xiong Gang behind Tianying returned to his senses. Seeing the 4 flying swords fired at a high speed, he knew that there was no way to avoid it, so he had to defend with all his strength. "Drink. If you want to kill him, pass me first." The bear just roared angrily. The fighting spirit in his body poured out fiercely, clenched his fists, and then hit the void fiercely. For a while, the whole world trembled fiercely at this moment. The vigorous fighting spirit condensed rapidly in the void in front of him. In a twinkling of an eye, it turned into an energy shield. However, the next moment, the 4 flying swords flashed at the coming moment, and the 4 flying swords immediately merged into one. Then they bombarded the fighting spirit shield just condensed by the bear. I don't know how to live or die. Since you sincerely want to die, I'll send you on the road first." Zhuo Lin smiled grimly when he saw that Xiong had just shot. His mind controlled the flying sword, and its power soared. Card wipe. Then the next moment, just listening to a crisp click, the fighting shield in front of the bear was quickly filled with cracks. And then, bang! The air shield broke in response, and then the golden flying sword pierced Xiong Gang's chest. Old 3. For a moment, Xiong Gang's face also turned white. The eagle once again gave a sad cry. His hands under his sleeve and robe were pinched together, and his heart was full of resentment. However, Zhuo Lin still didn't give the other party a chance. He moved his mind and flew the sword again. Without waiting for Tianying to move, he fell down again and aimed at Tianying. Die. The flying sword fell rapidly at a lightning speed. In a twinkling of an eye, it had fallen to the top of the eagle. Seeing it, the eagle would die under Zhuo Lin's sword. However, at the next moment, just when Tianying was about to fight back, hiss. This time, even the eagle couldn't help but be stunned. When he looked up, he only saw that the person who took the sword under his crotch was leopard. But, in addition, in front of our bow at the moment, in the void, a white palm is locking the golden long sword firmly in the palm of his hand. A terrible force rushes into the long sword, and then, bang! In such a big battle circle, at the moment, in the most central place, several figures are staring at the black-robed young man who suddenly appeared in the void. The young man was dressed in a black robe and looked plain. At the moment, he was holding a long golden sword in his hand. On the long sword, the golden light is shining, the momentum is like a rainbow, and the sharp sword chi is like the essence, which forcibly cuts the surrounding void. But at the moment, the long sword was locked to death by the young man. No matter how fierce the sword spirit is, it can't break free. What's more incredible is that the sharp sword spirit that can easily cut the void can't even cut the skin on the young man's palm. But then, just when several people were stunned, the young man's fingers clasped the blade with a violent force. Immediately, there was only a click sound. The golden long sword exploded into nothingness in the young man's hand. And it was only at this moment that several people staring at the young people suddenly recovered. In the void, our Bao's eyes were round, and he stared at the sudden figure without blood on his face. Gradually, his white face recovered rapidly, and a stream of excited tears poured into his scarlet eyes. "My lord, brother Xiao Yang." The leopard and the eagle behind him made a sound almost at the same time. There was no need to say more about the excitement in the sound, but then they quickly recovered. The excitement just appeared on their faces, quickly dispersed and turned into anxiety again. However, just as the eagle was about to speak, Xiao Yang smiled and couldn't help saying. As soon as his palm turned over, 2 jade bottles suddenly appeared in his palm and handed them to the 2 people in front of him with one hand. "Be careful, they have 7 strong fighters." Seeing Xiao Yang, the mood in Tianying's heart was also involuntarily stabilized. The people in front of them seemed to have a special ability. As long as they saw him, no matter how great the danger they were facing at the moment, they seemed to be able to solve it. Let you suffer. Leave the next thing to me. Hearing the speech, Xiao Yang smiled, and his smile was full of endless killing intention. Seeing this, the two people in front of them looked slightly stunned. Immediately, they relaxed their bodies in silence, swallowed pills, and were ready to heal. Looking back, Xiao Yang's eyes swept from the fierce battle circle outside. He could clearly see that batch after batch of Warcraft were constantly dying, but all this was because of him. Seeing this scene, Xiao Yang felt a little unbearable. At the same time, an anger also suddenly arose. On the other side, when Zhuolin saw Xiao Yang suddenly appearing, he suddenly felt a sense of resentment in his heart, and a ferocious smile appeared at the corners of his mouth. However, when he saw that the long sword condensed by himself was crushed and exploded by Xiao Yang, he felt a chill in his heart. It is clear that he has just passed the imperial robbery. How can he still have such combat power? It is impossible. Zhuolin's heart was strong and calm. Zhuolin's mind moved. The surging fighting spirit rushed out of his body. In the void around his body, several flying swords were condensed again. At the same time, Zhuolin grabbed the golden cloud sword out of thin air. Xiao Yang, today is your time to die. Suddenly, the 6 strong fighting emperors in the peripheral battle circle immediately heard the sound and turned their eyes to Zhuolin at the moment. Then, Xiao Yang's figure also came into their eyes. It's Xiao Yang. This guy has made it through the robbery. Oh! Did you get through the imperial robbery? But what can you do? After the imperial robbery, there should not be much fighting spirit left in his body now. It's not easy for us to kill him. Hearing the words from the mouth of several other strong fighting emperors, the fighting emperor of the Hu family smiled coldly, with disdain in his words. However, at the next moment, when his eyes fell on Xiao Yang, his face was full of sneers, but his expression was gradually solidified, and the smile just rising from the corner of his mouth also disappeared gradually. At the same time, several other strong fighters, including Zhuolin at the moment, also found the strange smell on Xiao Yang. At this time, Xiao Yang's face is ruddy, his eyes are sharp, and his breath is thick. He seems to be in the peak state. It doesn't look like a person who has just suffered the imperial robbery. What's the matter? There's something strange about this guy. In the void, the 7 strong fighters couldn't help but meet each other's eyes. They all saw the abnormal look in each other's eyes. Obviously, they didn't read it wrong. There was something wrong with Xiao Yang's breath. It's impossible. He just passed the imperial robbery. The breath in his body can't be unchanged. It's absolutely impossible. The 7 fighting emperors couldn't help thinking. Indeed, their ideas were right. Xiao Yang's breath had indeed changed, but it didn't weaken like ordinary people, but became stronger and bigger. For the thoughts in the hearts of this group of people in front of him, Xiao Yang had no psychological understanding at this time. After sweeping his eyes from the Warcraft in the outer circle, he turned and fell on Zhuolin in front of him. The injury of the burning lion and the bear just happened because of the guy in front of them. I can't imagine that I haven't seen you for a few years. My strength has broken through to the fighting emperor. But even if I break through, so what? Just 1-star fighting emperor, do you still want to compete with the 7 of us? Seeing Xiao Yang's cold and unfeeling sight, Zhuolin could not help but feel a little chilly, but when he thought about his 4-star fighting emperor strength and the 6 fighting emperors around him, he immediately had a bottom in his heart. The 6 people could not help but frown. Zhuolin tied so many of them in one sentence. It seems that Zhuolin is very afraid of the strange smell of Xiao Yang. After all, Xiao Yang has made a terrible record of killing the strong ones of Do Di. Now Xiao Yang is advanced to Do Di, who knows what level of terror his power has risen to. Without absolute certainty, Zhuolin dare not act rashly. Against the 7 of you? Hearing Zhuolin's words, Xiao Yang smiled at the corners of his mouth. Immediately, he shook his head slightly. His eyes swept slowly from the irritating body in front of him and paused slightly when passing by Ying. Then he took back his eyes and said softly, I never intended to compete with you. None of you want to go today. At the moment when Xiao Yang's words were spitting out, Xiao Yang's heart moved. For a while, an extremely terrible momentum swept out of Xiao Yang's body and turned into an invisible energy storm. In the twinkling of an eye, It had enveloped the whole battle circle. The terrible momentum was like an invisible mountain on the top of everyone's head. For a moment, the hearts of all the 4 families present couldn't help setting off a storm. Under this momentum, even the 4-star fighting emperors were inferior. This. How? How possible? 4-star fighting emperor. What are his accomplishments? The bodies of the 7 strong fighting emperors were fixed on the void like sculptures, and everyone's face was full of horror. They could not imagine that Xiao Yang's accomplishments had reached such a level. 4-star duty. They thought that in 5 years, Xiao Yang had reached the level of fighting emperor from 6-star and half emperor, which was already very terrible, but they couldn't think of it. Xiao Yang's cultivation couldn't help being promoted to fighting emperor, and even reached the level of terror of 4-star fighting emperor. You know, the level of fighting emperor is different from that of ordinary semi-emperors, and it is particularly difficult to improve their strength. Even some talents with excellent cultivation qualification are also extremely difficult to improve their strength after entering fighting emperor, ranging from a few years to dozens of hundreds or even longer, but they have never seen anyone who can improve their strength in just 5 years. Raising the strength from 6-star and a half emperor to 4-star fighting emperor is almost a whole level. Feeling the terrible momentum emerging from Xiao Yang's body, Zhuo Lin and others suddenly sank down. On the contrary, Bai Ying was here. Although their eyebrows were frowned, they were thinking about something else. Damn it. It's only a few years. How can his strength reach the 4-star duty? Zhuo Lin is biting his teeth with hatred. He can't figure out how Xiao Yang can improve so much strength in 5 years. However, when Zhuo Lin's thoughts rose, Xiao Yang grasped the black ruler with a big hand, and immediately fell into his hand. Starting with the giant ruler, the forest white flame also gushed out of Xiao Yang's body, quickly climbed up the giant ruler, and dyed the giant ruler into a forest white color in a twinkling of an eye. Seeing this, the 6 people were suddenly cold in their hearts. They knew that it was useless to think about anything now. No one would be Xiao Yang's opponent one-on-one. The only way they can deal with Xiao Yang now is to work together. Everyone, we are under the command of Tianjian sect. It's important now. I hope you can share the same hatred and solve this boy first. It's not too late for us to discuss the remaining problems slowly. Join hands. The 7 people looked at each other and said in one voice. Of course, among them, except Bai Ying. Should come down, several people nodded heavily. Even if they looked at Xiao Yang, their eyes suddenly became sharp. Drink. Suddenly, Zhuo Lin burst out a violent drink in his mouth and waved his big hand. Several flying swords condensed from the surrounding void shot away at Xiao Yang. The sharp sword blade sent out bursts of harsh sound explosion when it crossed the void. The invisible void was easily broken by the sword qi. In a twinkling of an eye, several long swords had come to Xiao Lin. Seeing this scene, the 2 people behind Xiao Yang immediately tightened their hearts and squeezed a sweat for Xiao Yang in their hearts. However, Xiao Yang himself had no response and even had no intention to make a move at all. Then, when the long swords stabbed Xiao Yang hard, they seemed to hit the steel plate. No matter whether the blade of the long sword stabbed Xiao Yang's chest or head, eyebrows or eyes, the result was no response. Xiao Yang was like a hard stone. The attack of the long sword could not pose the slightest threat to him. The blade of the sword constantly collided on the surface of Xiao Yang's body. After a few clear knocking sounds, the long sword suddenly dispersed. What? Seeing this scene, Zhuo Lin couldn't help but be slightly surprised. He immediately bit his teeth and raised his palm. The golden cloud sword held in his palm was suspended in front of him. The huge fighting spirit continued to flow into it, and the golden light filled the air, as if it were an obsidian sun. Yaori sword. Then, Zhuo Lin gave a violent drink in his mouth, and the long sword in front of him suddenly shot out towards Xiao Yang. The terrible momentum instantly chopped the surrounding void into a dark and endless void. Tao Tao's momentum seemed like a beast rushing towards Xiao Yang. Until the long sword came in front of him, Xiao Yang looked up fiercely. At the same time, the giant ruler wrapped by different fire swept fiercely in front of him. This foot, without any fancy, only Xiao Yang's own strength and the layer of forest white fire wrapped on the giant foot. However, It was this non-fancy foot that smashed the oncoming golden long sword with unparalleled sword spirit. The power of destroying the withered and decaying suddenly broke the sword chi on Jin Yun's sword. With a clear sound of gold and iron collision, Jin Yun's sword immediately broke away from Zhuo Lin's control and shot away towards the distant battle circle. After successively penetrating many strong men of the four families, it was deeply inserted into the mountains below. It was also at this time that Xiao Yang's body and 6 other people came forward quickly, showed their famous fighting skills and blasted at Xiao Yang. Seeing this, Xiao Yang couldn't help but frown slightly. His body quickly flashed away, and Tianjueba followed. Although he finally hid the attack of the 6 people, Xiao Yang was still a little embarrassed, but before Xiao Yang had time to breathe, Zhuo Lin rushed to Xiao Yang again with a long sword in his hand. 1-7, under the premise of not displaying any fighting skills, this is really what makes Xiao Yang hard. Bang! The giant ruler took turns. After flying an old leader of the Sun family, Xiao Yang immediately retreated. The two sides looked at each other 100 feet away. Gaga, even if you are a 4-star fighting emperor, what about the later stage? 1-7, with few enemies, how can you be our opponent? The middle-aged man of the Hua family took a step forward and said with a strange smile. As soon as he said this, the other 6 beside him also took a step forward and stared at Xiao Yang with different looks. However, when they looked at Xiao Yang with a sneer, they didn't think that since the opponents of both sides, the 7 people have used a lot of means. On the contrary, Xiao Yang has used any fighting skills from the beginning to now, except Qianjue's step. Oh! Depending on how many people. Hearing the speech, Xiao Yang smiled back. If so. While laughing, Xiao Yang raised his right hand slowly. Immediately, in full view of the public, he hit a crisp snap of his fingers. Then, the void beside Xiao Yang slowly twisted. A strong figure covered in purple and gold and Jiudao, who was also dressed in black robes and looked the same as Xiao Yang, appeared next to Xiao Yang and lined up in a row against each other's 7 people. For a moment, the faces of the 7 people opposite suddenly changed, and the air condensed at this moment. In the war circle, Xiao Yang and the 4 families stood high in the air and confronted each other. However, with the appearance of the 9 incarnations and the North King, the expression on the face of the 4 families who were sneering a moment ago solidified rapidly, and then turned into an unbelievable expression. The 9 incarnations are equivalent to 9 2-star fighting emperors, and the North King has reached the level of 3-star fighting emperors. He is no less than the 2 elders of the Sun family in their side. Coupled with Xiao Yang, that is to say, there are a total of 11 strong fighting emperors in Xiao Yang's team at the moment. Only in terms of the number of strong fighting emperors, Xiao Yang's team is 4 more than them. The sudden change of the situation in the field made one of the 4 families feel a little depressed. Since the beginning of the war between the 2 sides, Xiao Yang has never shown his real strength. At the moment, he has shown the incarnation of Bei Wang and Jiudao, which shows that the real battle has just begun. You don't have to worry. It's just 9 incarnations. Even if you have the cultivation of the 2-star duty, can you be afraid of him with the strength of our 3-star duty and the 4th-star duty? At this moment, the leader of the Hua family once again stood and glanced at the 9 incarnations one by one, showing a look of disdain in his eyes. However, just as his words had just fallen, the 9 incarnations on the opposite side suddenly merged with each other, and every 3 incarnations merged into one. However, in the twinkling of an eye, there were only 3 incarnations left, and the strength of these 3 incarnations was surprisingly up to the midterm level of the 4-star fighting emperor. Compared with the 4 4-star fighting emperors of the 4 families, all are strong but not weak. Damn it, how could this happen? This guy's means are far more terrible than you and I know. What are you worried about? We have a good winning rate of 7-5. Zhuo Lin waved his long sword and said coldly. As soon as he said this, the eyes of several people around him also brightened slightly. Zhuo Lin's words are right. As a strong man fighting the emperor, in such a war, even if the number of strong men on both sides is only 1, it is fully capable of allowing them to crush their opponents. Moreover, now there are 2 more of their 4 families. Therefore, even if Xiao Yang now has an avatar and the North King to help, he is also not their opponent. However, 7 against 5, ha ha. Master Bai, Do you think they have a higher winning rate, or do I have a higher winning rate? Suddenly, Xiao Yang smiled, but turned the conversation to Bai Ying. Suddenly, all the strong fighters in the presence couldn't help looking at Bai Ying. They couldn't help feeling a burst of doubt. What does Xiao Yang mean? Facing so many people's eyes, Bai Ying's heart was also shocked. Unexpectedly, Xiao Yang pushed him out at this moment. Look at this meaning, it seems to be pulling him into a thief's boat. With Xiao Yang's current strength and soul strength alone, it is easy to see that Bai Ying's real strength has reached the later stage of the 4-star fighting emperor. Compared with the other 3 people present, he is undoubtedly the strongest one. He hides his strength only for his own purpose. But now, listening to Xiao Yang's words, the other party is trying to force him to turn against the water. With Xiao Yang's words just now, the other 3 families around him have doubts about him. If he doesn't turn back today, whether the 4 families win or lose in the end, the white family behind him will not have a good result. But if he turns against the water in public, it's just that Xiao Yang can successfully kill these people here. If not, something will happen to his white family. Xiao Yang's move is clearly forcing him to make a choice. This is a big bet. The bet is the White House behind him. Thinking, Bai Ying falls into deep thinking. He must grasp the pros and cons clearly. Every difference will turn his family into ashes. For a moment, the atmosphere on the field fell into a strange silence again. All the strong fighting emperors present all fell on Bai Ying, including Xiao Yang, waiting for Bai Ying's answer at the moment. Whoosh! Until a moment, Bai Ying, who was watched by everyone, suddenly flashed, and came to Xiao Yang with lightning speed. Although he didn't speak, his behavior was already his best answer. Bai Ying. What do you mean? Suddenly, the 6 strong fighters of the 3 families immediately set their eyes on Bai Ying, and their faces trembled with anger. Bai Ying's sudden move ruined their good situation. How sure are you that you can keep them here? Ignoring the people of the 3 families, Bai Ying directly looks at Xiao Yang. The immortality of these people is what he cares about most, which is related to the family behind him. Hihi, if I say, even without you, I'm 100% sure to keep them. Do you believe it? Xiao Yang smiled. The smile was full of cold meaning. Hearing this, Bai Ying couldn't help but be a little surprised. Then he came back to his mind. In this way, Xiao Yang's behavior just now is not really lack of help, but congratulations, you just saved yourself. But what about my family? Bai Ying's voice sounds a little low. If he really follows what Xiao Yang said, he can kill all the people of the other 3 families without hurting Bai Ying, but his actions. Hihi, I think with the wisdom of Bai family leader, you should have figured out the countermeasures before you just flashed over. Xiao Yang smiled coldly. Bai Ying didn't escape his eyes. As soon as he said this, Bai Ying's pupil shrank suddenly. He couldn't help feeling afraid of the man in front of him. Looking back, he thought again. If he hadn't turned back just now, would he also become another dead soul in Xiao Yang's hands? With this in mind, Bai Ying can't help sweating on his forehead. He is not only afraid of the idea in his heart, but also glad for his actions. But at the same time, it also shows that his Bai family is not far from the day when he really turns against Tianjian Gate. Damn it! The traitor is not listening to us. Let's go together and kill Xiao Yang first. As for Bai Ying, let's save him a dog first and let him see with his own eyes how the family he established was destroyed in his hand. Then, among the remaining 3 families, Chi shouted angrily, moved, and rushed to Xiao Yang again. In the void, Xiao Yang saw the 6 people coming from the opposite side, with a look of disdain on his face. With his mouth open, the forest white strange fire immediately spewed out of his mouth, turned into a surging flame wave on this void, and rushed fiercely towards the 6 people opposite. In the face of the fire wave condensed by different fire, the 6 people did not dare to be careless. They used their own means one after another. After a lot of effort, they broke the fire wave. But then they were greeted by 3 incarnations in black robes and the North King of King Kong. With the strength of the 3 incarnations of the 4-star duty, the 3-star duty facing them are not opponents at all. Just a face-to-face meeting has made them fall into the disadvantage and defeated. It is only a matter of time. As for the North King, It was a 4-star fighting emperor of the Zhou family who fought against him. His strength was extraordinary, but unfortunately, he faced the North King. No matter how tough the 4-star fighting emperor's means are, they are nothing in front of the puppet body of the North King. Rao is very difficult to defeat the North King because of his cultivation of the 4-star fighting emperor. The two sides fought for a moment, but the war situation is always in a balanced state. In addition to these 4 people facing a strong fighting emperor of the 3 families, the remaining 2 are the 4-star fighting emperor of the Hu family and Zhuolin of the Zhou family. What these 2 people face respectively is Bai Ying and Xiao Yang. You traitor, keep a good Yangguan Avenue. If you don't go, you have to go on the road of death. Since you want to die, I will fulfill you today. First of all, it was the 4-star fighting emperor of the Hu family. In the face of Bai Ying, he was not afraid at all. Even in his eyes, he contained a touch of disdain. Facing Bai Ying with the strength of his 4-star fighting emperor, even if he doesn't use his full strength, he is sure to crush each other. But what he didn't know, in the face of his white win, his heart was the same at this time. Sure enough, when the two collided, the real strength gap between the two immediately showed up. Look at Xiao Yang and Zhuolin at this time. Now they are both 4-star fighting emperors, but Xiao Yang's strength is the peak of the later stage of the 4-star fighting emperor. I don't know how much better than Zhuolin. Zhuolin didn't expect that these soft bones would deliberately give Xiao Yang to him. It seems that this is his wish to catch Xiao Yang alone before he completes it. Damn it, when Princess Ben goes back, you must look good. Zhuolin's muscles at the corners of his mouth pumped fiercely and scolded with hate. However, at the moment when he just looked up, Xiao Yang's cold face appeared in front of him. Suddenly, Zhuolin's heart jumped and his body quickly retreated, but at this time, Xiao Yang, who was holding a Xian heavy ruler, blasted out with a foot and smashed into Zhuolin's chest. The sudden scene made Zhuolin suddenly shocked. He couldn't care so much anymore. He hurriedly blocked the golden cloud sword in his hand in front of him. He wanted to take this to stop Xiao Yang's attack. Dang! With a loud sound like a bell, Zhuolin's body suddenly flew back uncontrollably. At the moment he stopped his body, his face quickly turned red. Then, a big mouthful of red blood gushed out of his mouth. He looked down and saw that the golden cloud sword in his hand was where he had collided violently with Shen Chongkai. There was a clear crack. Golden cloud sword. Zhuolin was surprised. The materials used to make Jinyun's sword were extraordinary. He never thought that his proudest Jinyun sword would be broken by a blow. It was incredible. In addition to being shocked, Zhuolin also raised endless resentment in his heart. He didn't believe that Xiao Yang could be so strong as a 4-star fighting emperor. His Zhou family is the first of the 4 families, and his Zhuolin is the first of all the younger generations of the 4 families. No matter the martial arts or fighting skills he cultivates, he is the best of Tianjian sect. What is he, Xiao Yang, but a wilderness man at most? How can he be compared with such a proud son of heaven? As soon as he thought about it, Zhuolin was furious. The broken golden cloud sword in his hand was thrown out. His body was shocked fiercely, his big hand waved, and his magnificent fighting spirit immediately rushed out of his body. Immediately, he grasped it fiercely, and his fighting spirit condensed into a more fierce golden long sword. The soles of his feet stepped heavily in the void and rushed away at Xiao Yang. Are you serious? Xiao Yang said faintly, seeing that Zhuolin was rushing towards him. He didn't dodge, his wrist twisted slightly, and the heavy ruler front was facing Zhuolin. The distance between the two was 100 feet. Under the speed of the strong man, it came in the twinkling of an eye. But when the golden long sword in Zhuolin's hand quickly approached Xiao Yang, the huge ruler in Xiao Yang's hand suddenly waved out. With only one blow, the long sword in Zhuolin's hand was forcibly smashed. Too weak. Xiao Yang said faintly. At the same time, Zhuolin's ferocious face turned very white in an instant. Shua. Then, Xiao Yang's body was like a ghost. He suddenly appeared in front of Zhuolin, his lips close to the latter's ears, and said indifferently, "In 5 years, I thought you would surprise me, but I didn't want to. Be so weak." With the words in Xiao Yang's mouth, the pupil in Zhuolin's eyes suddenly contracted to the size of the tip of a needle. Then, His body was blasted away by Xiao Yang again. After flying Zhuolin, Xiao Yang could not help but frown. There was a suspicious color between his eyebrows, shook his head, and the Tianjue step at his feet came out in an instant. His body was like a dark lightning. In a twinkling of an eye, he came to Zhuolin again. This time, Xiao Yang didn't intend to give him a chance to backhand. Somehow, just now, under the perception of Xiao Yang's soul, he always felt that there seemed to be another force peeping between heaven and earth. Being able to explore the soul power of Xiao Yang without being found, based on this, the strength of the latter is definitely above the 6-star fighting emperor. Otherwise, it is impossible to escape Xiao Yang's soul exploration. However, just at the moment when Xiao Yang's mind had just raised such an idea, there was suddenly an extremely terrible momentum and pressure between the heaven and earth. It fell from the sky like an inverted bowl, enveloping the heaven and earth. Suddenly, all the people in the fierce battle in the field were shocked in an instant. They quickly looked up, but they saw an old man in hemp robe standing impressively at the top of the space shrouded by momentum. This video will end here.